And tonight we've got a good one. We're going to be talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones and take a look at some of his stats and what he's been able to do the last couple of seasons and kind of review why he's actually a really good fit for this Lions team. I know a lot of you were upset yesterday at 4 p.m. when the Lions didn't reach and grab somebody for the defense. Hey, look, I was looking to have somebody join this defensive front line and really help get us a bigger push. Well, Brad Holmes has a different plan. And quite honestly, the plan that he executed and with Peoples-Jones coming onto this team, I think you have some things to be excited about. Now, at a quick glance, when you look at his stats for 2023, 8 receptions, 97 yards, no TDs, you're like, wow, why did we bring this guy in? Well, you have to look at the full dynamic. You know, the Browns team, what are they going through? Are they struggling? Where is, DPJ on the depth chart? How many targets has he seen? Well, what did he do in 2022 or 2021? He was drafted 6th round in 2020, 187 overall by Cleveland out of University of Michigan. Donovan Peoples-Jones is 6'2", 204 pounds. And he's got that big body that the Lions have been missing. He has a very aggressive play style to him. When I watch him, and you're going to see here in just a minute in the video of the highlights that I pulled together, when you watch him go up and high point the ball or the contested catches, catches in traffic, going to the ground, he does a really good job with his focus on the sideline and watching where his feet are. Overall, he has all of the skills that you would look for in a number one wide receiver. And what this does for the Detroit Lions is it gives us some much needed depth, especially after Marvin Jones had to exit the team due to family matters. And we hope everything's going well with Marvin. We don't know the situation there, nor should we. It's none of our business, but we wish him well. But what DPJ is going to do for this Lions, it may not pop off the charts right away. But what it's going to do is give us an insurance policy that if somebody does get hurt, if Brown goes down, if Reynolds goes down, Donovan Peoples-Jones has the skills to step in and produce. So where I'm going to start with, I'll start with 2022, and we'll kind of look at, what he did the previous season and why I'm not worried about what's going on this season. I mean, it's no secret, right? I mean, the Browns have had their fair share of trouble. DPJ hasn't really been lacking in snaps this season. He's clocking about 80% of the offensive snaps. But where there has been an issue is that the Browns have been relegated to focusing on the run game more than the pass game, which is more attributed to Deshaun Watson's injury. It's not that they're just scheming to the run. Their, number one quarterback has been injured. And last season, I believe, he was suspended for the majority of the season. So it's not DPJ's fault, that he's on, the doo-doo Browns, or was, but he's not anymore. With the Lions, he'll be facing, a fair bit of competition. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams, and Khalif Raymond are in the receiver room right now. I think that he's an immediate upgrade over Jameson Williams because of his experience, his big body. He does have 4.45 speed. So, he's not anywhere near close to Williams' speed, but he does have big play potential. He does have the deep threat potential, but he's a do-it-all type of wide receiver, and that's what you're going to see here in just a minute. The Browns really took a shot on Peoples-Jones in the 6th round in 2020. And we've kind of watched, when you look at the stats, we've watched his targets, receptions, and yardage increase during each of every single season he's been with the Browns. 2022 was his best season. But so far this season, it's just not clicking for the Browns. And DPJ had an impressive string of 7 straight games with 50-plus yards last season. If we were to get any of that type of production this season, that would be incredible. But what I want to remind everybody is, Cleveland Browns depth chart. Their number one wide receiver is Amari Cooper, or Amani Cooper, whatever his name is. And He's got 478, Amari Cooper, that's right. He's got 478 yards on the season so far. But the difference is Amari has seen 58 targets, whereas DPJ has only seen 18. Njoku, their tight end, has seen 39, and again, to his 18. Third on the list, Elijah Moore has seen 48. And even the running back Ford has 3 more targets at 21. So he's been 5th on this depth chart, or receiving depth chart, if you will, as far as targets. That's not going to, bode well to the stat lines. And it's not like he's stepping into a situation where he's going to be able to walk into a ton of targets. But I can tell you right now, the balls that have been thrown to Jameson Williams that have been dropped and missed, those are going to be caught by DPJ. And you're going to see why, like I said here in just a minute. I'm going to roll these highlights. But I wanted to get through some of this, get it out of the way so that we can just roll into it. It's only a couple of minutes long. So here we go. First thing we're gonna start with is sideline focus. And what you're gonna notice right away is when he's running down the sideline, he's looking back, right? He's finding the ball, looking right at the quarterback, goes up and high points the ball, and takes the defender right out of the play. That's amazing focus. Knows where he needs to be. Toe tap, again, knows where he needs to be, knows where he is on the field. He's an acrobat. Looking back, making a reverse back shoulder, catch on that play. Contested catch artist. Look, the Lions have been missing somebody this season to really go up and get some contested balls. When all the tape that I watched the last 2 nights, that's what he does the best, is he will put himself in front of the defender and go up and fight for every single ball. He doesn't care where the ball's thrown. He's going to get it. He's the type of receiver that's going to work back to the ball, not just wait for the ball to get to him. Why is that important? Well, it's important because when you just let the ball come to you, that is giving the defenders an opportunity to go and intercept the pass or knock it down. When you're working back towards the ball, you are removing some of those elements or opportunities for the defense. And that's what you're going to see a lot of in some of these highlights as well. Here, I'll roll it again. Here we go. So contested catch artists. He's got a defender all over his back, and he goes up and makes that play. Rewind it for just a second. Here we go. Maintains the catch. I mean, just phenomenal ability out of this kid. Now, in this play right here, I don't know if this was a Hail Mary, at the end of a game, or if DPJ was just working the field and kept working down the field and keeping the play going as Baker was scrambling. But at any rate, he ends up in the end zone, looks like a Hail Mary. He jumps up and gets in front of 3 other, defenders, brings the ball down. Ball gets swatted in the air and he holds on. Over the middle. Again, another guy over the top of his back. Over the middle again, over his back. He's not afraid to mix it up. Stretch and stride here. What you're going to notice here is he's going to go up and high point the ball and immediately get into his long stride, which gains him about 31. Quick out potential. I just wanted to show this one. I don't think that the quick out potential is going to be there with Goff. Goff is kind of long, and he's not able to do the quick outs or the hitches, quickly, if you will. Every single one that he's thrown this season has really not done anything. And unless you have a lot of blockers in front of you and you can get that ball out quickly, or you send a guy in motion and you're throwing it to him while in motion, it's not something the Lions utilize very well. But at least the potential's there. Here we go. So turns and fires, and he's on it. Just bull rushes his way through the end zone. Keeps working. So kind of what I was saying earlier, he continues to work, which allows plays to get extended. And we know how Goff is. And again, another contested catch. We know that Goff is able to extend plays, even by a second and a half. That means that your receivers can't stop working. And all, too often we see where receivers will stop. They will stop working back towards the ball. And then what could have been, you know, a busted play for a gain ends up being nothing, or a sack, or a throwaway. Now with DPJ, he continues to work until he hears that whistle. And deep ball, look, Goff has got 35 balls over 20 yards right now through half the season. That's good for second in the NFL. We don't have a lot of balls that are deeper because Jameson Williams has dropped some, and we just haven't been going downfield as much because why? We don't have a deep ball guy that we can count on. Josh Reynolds is about the only one. I think his average catch is about 18 yards right now, which is incredible. Josh Reynolds is dependable in the deeper crossing routes, but who's going to be dependable for us on the deep passes? So far, Jameson hasn't shown us that he's, you know, able to do it. DPJ can. Amazing focus. Again, like he knew he was going to take that lick. And he caught the ball, toe tapped it down, and took the hit and went out of bounds. Sure-handed. Look, you guys have seen this throughout all these highs. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. We have a guy that's got speed. He's got size. He's aggressive. And that's what I really love about him is he's aggressive. Look, he's been doing this since college. He was probably one of the best at going up and getting contested balls at U of M during his time there. And he's done it in the NFL too. So I'm happy that he's a part of this team. I don't think that, you know, and don't get your hopes up, but I don't think that he's just going to walk in and get a bunch of targets. I do feel like he is definitely the fourth wide receiver walking into this team. I think that he would get some more targets, you know, over JMO at this point. And he might get more playing time than JMO. We'll see. He's got to learn the offense. But at either rate, we now have an insurance policy on the offense, especially in the wide receiver room. Yeah, we didn't get anybody on defense. We are now waiting to see who's going to get healthy for this Lions team to make a deep run throughout the playoffs. Everyone's got to stay healthy, and we need to get some guys back at full capacity. This last Raiders game, man, our guys were beat up, bruised, battered, hurting, and you could tell. You know, Amon-Ra wore it. You know, he was sick. He wasn't feeling well, but he went out and gutted it out. And he played a heck of a game. And when you have that kind of, you know, innate ability to go and perform like that when you're not at your best and do really well, speaks volumes about your character. And what I see throughout these highlights is DPJ is not somebody that's not going to hustle, right? Brad Holmes wouldn't bring him in if he didn't fit this identity and culture and wouldn't fit into the locker room. And after watching the video, you know, from ESPN in the Dan Campbell interview that I posted on the Facebook page, Rocked On Detroit Lions, which I did some edits in that too. You know, I feel like who this team is and who we're becoming and why we stood down a little bit in the trade deadline is because they want it to be the exact right person, like they've said from the beginning. And given, you know, the situation right now with how well this team is playing, they did not want to take a risk at screwing that up. And there really wasn't anybody out there that made sense long term. Or, you know, I've seen some other things said that, you know, they would have had to have, you know, signed him to a longer term contract if they would have brought in Chase Young or somebody else. And it just didn't make sense because we've got to, you know, extend Goff and, you know, some other players. I think that's a cop out. Look, if the Lions want to bring guys in, they're going to have to sign some of their own guys anyway. But that doesn't mean that they can't afford 4 or 5 guys at max contracts. It's just how unique the contracts are put together that matters. The Lions have like $75 million in cap space next year. They can do whatever they want to do with that kind of money. They'll have about $50 million, $55 million after the draft to be able to do what they want. So, look, I'm excited about DPJ. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and we really appreciate you guys watching. You are the ones that are sponsoring and supporting this channel just by watching our videos, clicking a like. And if you haven't check below. Make sure you've subscribed. And if you haven't, we'd love to have you in. We're going to be preparing some, really amazing content over the next couple of weeks and throughout the season. 365 days a year, matter of fact. But we've got some big things coming in. Former players. Turned Up Tailgates got sidelined this season because the truck got smashed at the Seattle game. But we have the Superfan show coming up. Should be this Sunday. Still waiting on some confirmations. But we're going to be planning events like this all throughout the season. And 365 days a year, we're going to bring you something. So, hey, do us a favor. Check the cards that are popping up. Click your next video. And until next time, go One Pride. Go Detroit Lions. We'll see you later. Take care.